When I'm home, somewhere on the known, I'm reading, preparing for war with these demons, exercising, practicing my reading, live for a purpose, there's nothing for no reason. I come home, then I work out, clean up and cook, take a shower, write a rhyme, then I pick up a book, maybe some John Henry Clark, Christopher Columbus and the African Holocaust, no need for no Holocaust, maybe some Amos Wilson psychological development of African children. It's time for some building, blueprint for black power, dropping facts out of system creates Uncle Tom traders and black power. Marcus Garvey, his opinions and philosophies. He's one of the greatest, my brother, he got to be. Come on, no TV, my brother, we got to read. Sober's gotta be sober, so my brothers put out the weed. Yeah, without a sanctuary, they hunger some dreams. It's documented, when I read it, I started to weep. I'm up all night studying, falling to sleep. Gotta finish the ISIS papers, the chocolate is deep. I'm home, somewhere all alone, I'm reading, preparing for war with these demons, exercising, practicing my breathing, live for a purpose, do nothing for no reason. When I'm home, somewhere all alone, I'm reading, preparing for war with these demons, exercising, practicing my breathing, live for a purpose, do nothing for no reason. I'm not reading no trashy novels, I'm not watching no Medea. I'm reading live from death row, Bible Mia, reading some George Jackson, blood in my eye, I'm a soldier. Just in case you were wondering why the autobiography of Malcolm X gave me self-respect. So if a cracker disrespect, I'm pulling out the check. Layla Africa, African, holistic health, Aurora Anderson, black labor and white wealth, power economics. Most of y'all is hooked on chronics. You better pick up a book, get hooked on phonics. Read on the horizon by an imitated genie. Yeah, I'm building with the brother every time I go to DC. Black Holocaust 2000 by Dale Jones. And the information in that book, the swell dome. Reading some UBP, the doc of the people, revolutionary suicide. The music is free. When I'm home, somewhere all alone, I'm reading, preparing for war with these demons, exercising, practicing my breathing, live for a purpose, do nothing for no reason. When I'm home, somewhere all alone, I'm reading, preparing for war with these demons, exercising, practicing my breathing, live for a purpose, do nothing for no reason.
Peace. This is Mayaba Arene. I am representing a thought, a movement, a philosophy, that we will be ultimately victorious, that we will not be defeated. I'm inspired by that. I know it's being reality. You should read Coco Bandit, and I make Production Innocence by Del Jones, the war correspondent. Peace.
Yeah, this is Bless from Messiah Clothing from the heart of Brooklyn, 799 Rogers Avenue. And I recommend you read Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey by Amy Jacks Garvey. Stay up, bless.
Culture Mayasa representing United Front, D12 Movement. In the book I'm reading when I want to get my mind right is Race First by Tony Martin. Simply because Garvey is the foundation and the root.
Yeah, peace. It's your little brother Divine Allah. Rise to the front line. We Black Panther Party. National Youth Minister. Right now I'm reading Spiritual Warriors Are Healers by Baba Dishi, the master teacher, African martial arts, cooking guide in Google. Every black man, woman, and child should have this book, read this book, study this book, and research this book to get more of a thorough social, scientific, philosophical, and spiritual growth and development stage going on in their life. And we can't forget the mighty Dr. Francis Cress, the ISIS papers, Black Power.
It's the irritated genie in Southeast, positive kinetic vision. The war on the horizon, black resistance to the white sex assault. Brothers and sisters all across this planet need to read this book right now because we're in the midst of warfare. Europeans are trying to destroy our people. As African people, we have to unite, understand the forces that we're facing, and unite so that we can destroy our enemies and liberate our people.
Peace, and welcome to the Message to the BlackFam show. This should be a very, very interesting show today. The topic is going to be preparing women for warfare. And I thought that that song that we came into was just so fitting for it. And for anybody who has not gotten the Black Power Manhood Rap CD yet, I don't know what to say to you. I've, spread the word. I've begged, I've pleaded, I've told y'all. I don't even like rap music. And that's like my favorite CD of the year. So if you have not got that yet, you are tripping. But I love that song, and it speaks to what we're going to be talking about today, because we're preparing women for warfare, which is not something that's really far off in the future. It's something that most of us are battling on a day-to-day basis, being walking down the street and having to worry about being raped, being every time your man leaves the house, you have to wonder if he's going to come back that night. And as time progresses, especially I believe if Obama gets back into office, which I believe he will, it's going to get worse. It's probably going to break into all-out race war, riots, all kinds of other things. So we need to be preparing now for what we're going through right now, as well as what's going to be facing us in the future. And that requires getting our minds right, getting our bodies right, learning weaponry, all of that. To me, I believe that women should, quote unquote, be like the spook who sat by the door, somebody that you would never suspect. You see us and we look dainty and feminine and nice, like we wouldn't hurt a fly, but we are able to flip the script in a minute when need be. We cannot just depend on our husbands to protect us all the time, or our men, because if they fall down in the line of battle, there's still us and the children. We have to be that next line of defense. We should be a secret weapon. And I don't think that we're being utilized enough. And a lot of that is because, a lot of women, we're either extremes. Either we're very, very militant to the point where we're almost belligerent and masculine and really don't even want to care for a family, or we're so ultra cottony soft that we're really of no value. I mean, if our man, would get shot, we couldn't do anything but offer him a cookie. So we've got to find that balance for women so that we can be that secret weapon. A lot of our men, Sister Nefertari made this point a few months back, that a lot of our men cannot carry guns. They have felonies or what have you. They're not allowed to have these weapons, but most of us can. So we need to get to a position where we can really, really be utilized, be in top condition. And, this topic really hits home for me because right after, I think, the last show, about a week and a half ago, I actually, unfortunately, fractured my leg, my ankle, well, right above my ankle. Basically, I fractured my ankle. So I've been out of commission. I know you may have heard me on the radio sounding all chipper, but I've actually been in a lot of pain. And I'm not used to it because I'm usually a very, very healthy person, and I'm not used to being incapacitated in any way. It's kind of been driving me crazy not being able to get around and do what I normally do. And I had always heard other women say, that when the woman of the house is injured or sick, the house just basically goes to the birds. And I was kind of arrogant in that respect. I said, shoot, not me. Maybe that'll happen to you, but like for me, I'm married to my best friend. So if anything happened to me, my husband gonna hold it down. I ain't gotta worry about it. So, whatever. I'm sorry for you, but that's not my story. Well, I've been a little humbled in the last couple weeks. I'm not going to go into details, but let's just say I know, sisters, when that man of yours is sick, you might baby him and pamper him and all that. But when that happens to you, you might find yourself on your own. That's all I'm going to say about that. So it's very important that we stay in top form, so that we don't have to worry about that, so that we can do all of our duties, as well as being an asset to our family, being able to protect them if needed. So today, this is a first. We're actually going to have some testosterone on the Message to the Black Fam show, because this is not Message to the Black Woman. This is Message to the Black Fam. So it's time we get some masculine energy on here. And I got two of the strongest guests that I can personally think of from the War on the Horizon family. The first is my homie, Minister King Samir Shabazz from the New Black Panther Party. He has a show on War on the Horizon, Wednesdays, 7 to 9, so you can tune in tomorrow to hear him. The other one is Brother Bomani Mayasa of United Front. You actually heard him rapping on the way in, so if, like I said, if you have not got that CD, stop cooning. get a CD. You're going to hear from him today. I'm going to go on and bring both of my guests on. One moment. Let me make sure I have you here. Are you with me, brothers?
BB Cracker in the trunk.
Cracker in the trunk.
We here, Queen. We here.
I hear that. I'm so humbled to be able to have you brothers here, because I wasn't sure if I could sweet talk y'all into coming, but because I know, especially King Samir, I know you have other things to do, and Brother Bomani, I'm sure you're busy as well, but I really wanted the two of you for two reasons. Number one, I think that men really need to take it upon themselves to take their role as a leader of the house more seriously, and know that you know the people in your house, and if you have a woman that's a little weak and might need help in a couple different areas, you have to take it upon yourself to be able to train that woman and get her up to speed if she doesn't take the initiative to do it herself. And number two, because a lot of our women don't have men to tell them these things. And I think that it's good sometimes for women to take instruction from men. We're not really used to doing that. I was lucky, without a lot of strong men, I wouldn't be the person I am. I started with my father, and then Minister Khalid Muhammad, the messenger, my husband, and then more recently, the War on the Horizon family, which is male dominated. I love Sister Nefertari, but she's kind of outnumbered. So, Irritated Genie, Minister King Samir, Louis Ali, Baba Baruti has really made an impact on me in the last few years. And then the last couple months since listening to this Cracker in the Trunk, Brother Bomani, I have to say, it's been something else. I went from, being on the treadmill, not even wanting to bust a couple miles, to now, before I got injured, I was busting them out. It ain't seemed like nothing because I'm listening to Cracker in the Trunk. So I really wanted both of you on there. I think that it's really good. So I really thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on the program with me today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, I guess we can just get right on into it. What are your thoughts on the role of women in warfare, and what should be done? Do you think that we're being underutilized, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, personally, I think the sisters definitely play a role in defending the community and defending the family and our race. I mean, historically, whenever the men were incapable of holding it down, you had queens like Nzinga, Yasa, took the lead and actually fought our enemies head on directly. So it's in our legacy, it's in our ancestral heritage for the sisters to play a role in self-defense. I think nowadays the problem is a lot of sisters, a lot of black people in general are just lazy, and because we don't have there's a cultural disconnect from our ancestors, that we don't understand that self-defense is actually a part of our culture. Any warrior class in any given society, the warrior class are trained to be that way due to the fact that it's ingrained in their culture, due to the necessity of to have warriors amongst them to protect the children, the elderly, and the women, and protect the whole village. So, because of the cultural disconnect, we really don't, it's not part of our culture anymore. It's not being ingrained in us from young that self-defense is a necessity, it's a part of your responsibility, your culture, your heritage, and it is a part of your legacy.
Yes, sir. And Brother Bomani, you have just a little static on your line. For some reason, Skype has really been messing up on the programs lately. Is there any way that you can call right back in so we can try to get a little bit clearer connection?
Okay, I'll try to call back on phone. Just give me a few minutes.
Okay, yes, sir.
All right.
Peace. And Brother King Samir, what are your thoughts on that? Oops, Brother King Samir, you with me? I'm sorry. What were your thoughts on that?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. We're here. Very good question, Queen. Honestly, very, very, very good question. And I actually go back into the library, and I want to.
You know what, brother?
Give the family some words.
Brother King Samir.
Can you hear me?
Actually, you are a little fuzzy too. I think maybe it may be my connection. Can you hold on for one moment? I'm going to call right back in to see if maybe it's my line and I can clear it up.
Okay.
Okay, one moment, please.
Access code accepted. This conference is being recorded.
All right, Brother King Samir, let's see if that's any better.
All right. Is it better for you?
Much better, much better. And Bomani, if you are still on Skype, we got you too.
Can you hear me, sis?
Yes, I'm sorry, it was my line. For some reason lately, these shows have been, I don't know if it's a plot or what, if it's just some kind of, what do you call it, coincidence, but the lines have been kind of fuzzy lately. But I've got you both now. It's great.
Somehow the crack is getting the water into his back. The cracker got out the trunk. That's what it is. You got to stuff him back that way.
Would you get the cracker back in the trunk?
You let one slip. Say that again, brother? I said you let one slip out of the trunk, bro. Yeah. He got out, but I'm about to put him back in there. But Queen, to answer your question, as I was saying, I had to go into the archives and come with something very pertinent and vital to the very hit of your question. From our comrade warrior Che Guevara in the book called Guerrilla Warfare. And in this book, he gives us specific instructions. He gives the women specific instructions on how to defeat the enemy. It's quite much here, but I just want to go into a little bit of it to really get to the gist of your question. It says here the part that the woman can play in the development of a revolutionary process is of extraordinary importance. It is well to emphasize this since in all our countries, with their colonial mentality, there is a certain underestimation of the woman, which becomes a real discrimination against her. The woman is capable of performing the most difficult tasks, of fighting beside the men, and despite current beliefs, she does not create conflicts of a sexual type in the troops. And with that part being said, we can go back to what Brother Omani just built on the warrior queens, especially more specific Queen Yasantiwa, and how she broke all the men down in her village and told them 65 Pink Panthers, when we come back from kicking this cracker in his back, we're going to kick you in yours. So it says here, in the rigorous combative life of the woman is a companion who brings the qualities appropriate to her sex. But she can work the same as a man, and she can fight stronger in most cases sometimes than a man, but no less resistant than he. She can perform every class of combat task that a man can at any given moment. And on certain occasions in the Cuban struggle, she performed a relief role. Naturally, the combatant women are a minority. So I want to stop right there. Why is it in 2012 black women on a revolutionary struggle is a minority? It's a clear light bulb in my head, Queen, that the black man has not been teaching the black woman.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? The necessary information to help this black woman survive and keep the home surviving and thriving.
Yes,
because as you said earlier, when this man is gone, you understand what I mean? And that system that's authority drop, a lot of us have felonies. We can't carry guns. A lot of our women can though. You understand what I'm saying? But we're not to the point that we're teaching our women to go to the gun shows every other month. Go to the gun shows every 2 weeks down south and all these kind of things. Collect as many goddamn guns as you can get, baby girl, because hell, we gonna need every one of them. So in this day, we should be teaching our women about the basics, at least the basics of survival. If we're dealing with sisters who are not even of conscious mind. Come on, brothers. I know a lot of us are dealing with these kind of sisters with no consciousness at all. So the least we can drop in their brain cells is just the basics of self-survival. How to properly store food, water, how to properly store paper and matches and clothing and all these things. We have to be teaching our women in the homes how to build booby traps. A lot of times we on the road, brothers, and, you know, we got to have certain booby traps that our women know how to quickly operate and make happen in the home in our absence. So just the basics of survival. You understand what I'm saying? It's very mandatory. It's mandatory. It's no longer a thought process after you just having sex. That's not the after sex conversation. You understand what I'm saying? This is the 24-hour conversation. Even during sex, you should be talking about how we gonna survive.
Yes,
That's how real this thing is. You know, this has to be a daily, hourly, and a minute conversation, Queen, because we're so far behind. We're so far behind in our struggle. Our own struggle, we are 582 years behind. So we got a lot of catching up to do. And our women can make that happen. As long as she's being taught properly, she will then teach the babies in the home properly, who will then be learning how to survive.
Yes, sir. I agree 100%. I think the first part of getting women ready for warfare would be, just strengthening ourselves mentally, because we have to realize that, we actually have to be prepared to kill somebody. And, for some people, some women, maybe they could kill a devil, but we have to come to terms with the fact that you may have to kill somebody that looks like you in that kind of situation. And for some people, that's hard to swallow. We also have to come to terms with the fact that, God forbid, like I said, we might lose a spouse in this. This is real. This is what's happening day to day. What tips would you brothers give for kind of getting us mentally tough enough to endure? Because before we can even engage in war, we have to have our minds right.
That's right. Well, one thing is that we got to understand what's at stake. Like, once we understand that we at war, and war is serious business. War is not a game. You understand? And the fact that you may have to take somebody's life, the thing is, you have to be mentally prepared and physically prepared as well. Like, if you're not eating right, you're not working out. See, the thing is that we do things like work out and train for reasons of vanity. Like, you want to look good, which is nothing wrong with that, but you got to strengthen your body to strengthen your mind, and vice versa. Like, we got to look at it as holistically, and understand that we in combat, to engage in combat, there's many fronts. Like, everybody don't have to be on the front lines with a gun or with a machete, because the reality is that as a sisters can actually get closer to the beast than we can. Y'all the nurses in the hospital. Y'all the cooks in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? At the schools or whatever. So you got some cracks dying on the operating table. Pull that plug. You know what I'm saying? There's many fronts. That we can fight on. You don't have to have a machete or a gun in your hand to take a life. You can prescribe a crack of the wrong medication that may put him in a coma or something. You understand what I'm saying? You know what?
You're very right about that. That's one, and I maybe shouldn't even be saying that's one of my biggest regrets, but I think it is. I was in a situation years and years ago. Probably maybe, 20 years old. And I was cooning. I was at a Dairy Queen getting some ice cream. And there was some devils there. And, they're not the best parents. They're always, never watching their children or whatever. And I was standing right by the road. And there was a cracker baby that kind of started bolting towards the street. And I heard, Khalid Muhammad in my mind saying, kill the babies. But because of the fact that it was in public and like everybody's eyes like came to me and they were, basically just like, oh my God, this look in their eyes. And I actually bowed down to pressure and actually kind of blocked the baby from going into the street. And that's one of my biggest regrets. And when I realized after the fact that mentally, I wasn't ready. I was not ready because that could have been one less person. That could have been one step towards getting a lapel pin, and I let it go. So that is so correct when you say, you have to seize the opportunity sometimes where you can. I failed miserably in that respect, but that was well over a decade ago. So
Right, right. Well, it's all a growth and development process, Queen. You understand what I'm saying? Because you may be hard on one front, but on another front, you may be, super weak. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a balance. It's an everyday struggle. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, if that was me standing there, seeing little Susie crawling all into the wall with that 18-wheeler coming, little Susie would have been road kill. Sorry. Okay? And I'm able to encourage little Susie. Go, hurry up, little Peckerwood. Let the truck run you over. See, but I've been trained with that kind of mentality. You understand what I'm saying? Coming out of white rain all over my walls and, just having a cool life. You understand what I'm saying? But when I got training to be a man, a real black man, that was a whole other different level of training. So it's not going to come overnight. People just come into consciousness and think they're ready to kill some white folks tomorrow. They just read Message to the Black Man today, and they think they're ready to get their behinds out here and go fight some white folks tomorrow. It's not going to happen.
that's true.
It's not going to happen.
That's true. That was a very humbling experience.
You know what I'm saying? Not strategically anyway. Reactionarily, yes, that goes down every day. But on a strategic front, it's not going to happen because it's an everyday growth and development process. So we got to be training our minds and training our behinds. You know what I'm saying? So when the black man is getting up in the morning, the woman should be getting up too. If you're working out in the morning, your woman should be working out with you.
That's right.
Not just in the kitchen. She should be working out with you. When you on that gun range, she should be right next to you. And most times in those cases, she done mastered that thing. We still trying to get a headshot, and she done lit the crack, and she done ripped the whole damn top of the silhouette and it was off. You understand what I mean? So whatever we're doing, our woman has to be right next to us doing the same thing. Our babies have to be right next to us doing the same exact thing. This is how we grow and move as a united front in the home.
That's right.
Because that's where it's all going to start first, in the home. And we have to come to grips with the fact that, look, even if you give a cracker the wrong directions, okay, I do it every chance I get. Straight up. Especially when they're rich-looking peckerwoods, I send them up into deep up in North Philly. Fifth and Jefferson somewhere. Well, I know they will not make it past the end of that block. For a fact. So I'm at war with this cracker every single day, any way I can be. Even if I just make a crack across the street. You understand what I'm saying? That's warfare. We have to understand that there are many, many levels to warfare. But that black woman has to be a part of this liberation struggle. There is no way we're going to win a war of any kind without our woman by our side.
That's right. Let me just add on though to what the brother was saying about doing things as a united front in the home, as well as on top of going to the gun range with your mate and working out with your mate. Also, I encourage that if you train in martial arts, that y'all should be sparring with one another as well. Not with intentions to knock each other's head off, but the reality is sisters, that 9 times out of 10, if you are to be attacked, it's going to be by a male.
That's right.
So you need to know how to defend yourself and handle yourself against male aggression. So I would suggest that sisters also spar with your mate. Throw the gloves on. Get on the ground, grapple.
I definitely agree with that. And one thing, a lot of us think just because we might have grown up in the hood or went to a hood school or whatever and got into our little tussles or whatever, that's enough. That's not enough. Because usually, at least as grown people, when you were little, you could do the little windmill or pull a weave and, that was cool. But usually when you fighting somebody as an adult, most fights end up on the ground, so you need to learn some kind of shoot fighting or Brazilian jiu-jitsu or some kind of ground fighting on top of that.
But what I would say, like, what the reality is that most of us, like your average everyday black folk on the street really don't know how to fight.
True.
Like, I mean, I've been boxing since I was about 16, 17, and I was knocking grown men out because they thought they knew how to fight. You understand? Mm-hmm. So now the thing is, just some quick things is that in a street fight, most street fights are lost due to lack of conditioning. When you fighting on the street, like after about 30 seconds of continuous fighting, you lose about 50% of your energy due to an adrenaline dump. So if you don't have the conditioning to maintain a fight, as well as keeping your technique and your form right to finish the person off, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. If that person is bigger, stronger, faster than you, you're gonna lose because you don't have the conditioning to stay with it, to keep at them, and to see it through all the way to the end. And you mentioned Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like in regards to sisters, I think that's probably the best martial art for sisters, I believe. I train in several different forms of martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu being one, and it's now becoming one of my primary focuses of my training is my grappling. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is very effective. A sister can take easily, a 100-pound sister could easily take down a brother 300 pounds easily if she mastered the techniques of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You could choke a brother out from your back, or choke a cracker out from your back, break an arm, break a limb, an ankle, whatever. And usually, like you said, usually fights end up on the ground. And more times than not, if a sister's being attacked by some whole wheat cracker or a cracker, they trying to get you down on the ground on your back. So right. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu teaches you to be comfortable fighting from your back, and he'll be dead meat.
Yes, sir.
And on top of that, most men, white men, love to grab black women. So that's always expect that first. You understand what I'm saying? To be grappled. So, like the God said, if you're comfortable with dealing in that kind of defense, of self-defense, that cracker's back is snapped in about 8 different places if you're training properly. Now, let me give you an example. I used to be in the dogfight game, and each and every one of my dogs became a champion. There's a very specific workout regimen that I put my dogs under. And the more I started getting in deeper and deeper in the sciences of why they have to learn, the first thing of their exercise program is running, treadmills, swimming. It's building up their wind. It's building up their conditioning. Most of my dogs' fights never went past 20 minutes. And I've seen dog fights go for 4 hours. You understand what I'm saying? And I've seen some fights last 4 minutes. But it's the conditioning as the brother talked about. Very, very, very good conditioning. If your wind game is tight, you're going to win the fight.
That's right.
Because the longer you can last, the longer you stay energized like the bunny, hopping around and dancing and just throwing this cracker all around the trunk, just having your way with him, you're going to win the fight. Why? Because your conditioning is proper. You know how to properly breathe and properly learning never to panic during battle.
That's right.
Now,
because that also raises your adrenaline, panicking and getting all hyped up, and you got to learn to stay calm, cool, and collected. You understand what I mean? Think your way through, and that also helps your win game last longer for you to break that cracker's neck.
That's right.
Now,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just to touch back on what he said about the endurance thing. Endurance is probably one of the most important factors in fighting. Like you said, staying calm, and how you learn to stay calm is, like I said, going back to what I was saying about sparring. When you spar with your mate or with someone else, you're comfortable in situations where people are kicking, punching, trying to take you down to the ground and trying to attack you. You're comfortable in those situations. You know how to think your way through it. When you're thinking your way through the situation as opposed to just panicking, not understanding what's happening, that's when you lose all your energy because your adrenaline is pumping. When you become comfortable after hours and hours of sparring, because the reality is this, you can run 5 miles on a treadmill. You can ride 40 miles on a bike, but you probably couldn't last 2 minutes in a fight because it's different. It's a different type of endurance. See, like me, I spend hours and hours in the gym. I spend like at least 2 days a week. I spend like 8-9 hours in the gym.
Wow.
Because I spend and the majority of that, 3-4 hours of that is I'm doing pad work. I'm sparring. I'm kicking. I'm punching because your muscles have to build that endurance in it of doing the actual movements of fighting. You have to build the endurance to throw punches continuously, to throw kicks continuously, to be tackling and grappling with people, throwing them on the ground, going for chokes, and maintaining your win. So the only way you're going to build up that endurance, sisters, is training in the arts, training how to fight and sparring. That's the only way you're really going to build that natural endurance to maintain that. But the cardio from bikes and running, 'cause I do ride the bike, all that is still good. It adds on. But like my Sifu told me, if you're training to be a swimmer, you gotta swim. Running on a treadmill ain't gonna give you the endurance for swimming. So if your focus is fighting and you want to endure in a fight, you should be fighting. But you should be running too, because you never know when you gotta run 3-4 miles. So we gotta be doing all of that.
Now, is there any exercises that you guys would specifically suggest for women? Because especially in the Black community, due to our diets and due to the fact that most women just refuse to cook, we think that we're too good to get in the kitchen. A lot of us are overweight, and I'm not what anybody would consider overweight. I think I could probably drop 10 or 15 pounds comfortably, and I notice that now that I'm moving around a little bit on crutches. I'm like, whoo, it'll be good to have about 10 less pounds on me. Are there any exercises that you would think would be especially beneficial to women?
I would say it's what we call adaptability. As Brother Bomani talked about sparring, what we do, we'll stand in a corner in a close quarter combat situation. And how would you adapt to that very specific situation? Then we'll move out into an open area. Just different exercises since we're building on sparring. Just basic stuff like that. Being able to adapt to your surroundings and still maintain to be calm, cool, and collected and break the cracker's back. Also, I would have to honestly say, Queen, it depends on how overweight these sisters are. I mean, seriously, this is be real. I mean, we got, oh my goodness, it's so many different weight classes to that. You understand what I'm saying? So it really depends on the level of obesity we're talking about. Some of these sisters just need straight fat camp. You understand? That's what we call, you need to go to fat camp, okay? Before you even think about basic training, you need fat camp. Seriously. Continuously. You need about maybe 5 or 6 extra months of fat camp. Because some of our sisters and brothers are so obese, I mean, they can't even walk down the steps without a goddamn oxygen tank. And this is just real talk. You understand what I mean? So it really would depend on how much overweight, you are. But I can honestly say this. Start with your diet. Start with your diet. Start bringing your diet down to be able to eat 1 meal a day. If you're overweight and obese, start with your diet. Then, I mean, this is just my opinion, but this is how we do things on this day. Start with your diet. Then start flushing out your system along with getting your diet correct. You understand what I mean? And, of course, you got to do physical workouts. You got to work out. You got to start running. You got to
especially if you're overweight, you got to run. I've seen people in the gym literally run for hours and hours and hours on the treadmill, and it works. And one of these brothers was damn near 600 pounds, y'all. I mean, I'm throwing it out there because it's from actual experience. You understand what I'm saying? It works. But you have to have the willpower within self. Because a lot of folks will say, okay, I'm going to work out, and especially when New Year's come around. Everybody got I'm going to work out New Year's resolution, right or wrong. This going to be my year. Girl, I'm going to lose some weight. We're going to go to the gym, and you get your little Bally's for your little free 30-day workout at Bally's, and after that free 30 days, your behind is no longer working out. See, so it has to start with the willpower in self. Then you hit that diet. Now you have to start physically working out your body. Push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks, running, swimming, all of that. Whatever exercise you can think of, even if you just create your own stuff, make your body become used to moving, used to muscular activities, used to kicking, used to punching. Remember, as I always talk about on the Black Survival Show, body memories. When you start working out, and you're working out for at least 30 days, your body becomes registered now. Your body becomes used to wanting to do these things after the first 30 days. Now you are setting the tone for your muscles in your body to thrive, to continuously want to work out now, because that is what it has become used to. Muscle memories. Okay? It's not just memories of the mind, it's memories of the physical body anatomy itself.
Yes.
Let me just add on. I would say I agree with everything the brother just said. But I mean, just to be a little bit more specific, I think that sisters, if you don't use your core, you'll lose it. You know, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. And I feel like I know that like people got the misconception that your strength. If you want to have strong arms, you want to be real strong, you got to do push-ups, you got to do bench presses or whatever. Your strength comes from the center of your body, which is your core. You need to strengthen that core. Do them sit-ups, do them planks, do them mountain climbers.
What are planks?
Planks are basically where you kind of, your body lays, what is it, perpendicular to the floor, you on your toes and up on your hands, almost in a push-up position.
Okay.
And you hold your body, you tighten your abs, you tighten up your abs, and you hold your body there for a specific amount of time. Maybe like a minute, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, whatever you can do, and you kind of build up from there. The different kind of planks. There's side planks, there's front planks, there's planks you do down on your forearms. To me, I love planks. I absolutely love planks. Strengthen the core. Also do exercises that strengthen muscle as well as strengthen your cardiovascular, like mountain climbing. Planks is another one that it forces you to breathe and still build strength in your core and your arms and your shoulders. So like a lot of circuit training will help. Go from doing planks to doing jumping jacks, then mountain climbers, then maybe doing some kettlebell exercises. Also, and particularly for women, I mean for everybody, but particularly for sisters, you need, like, on top of having a strong core, you got to have them legs strong, especially if you're going to be fighting on the ground. You're going to need strong legs to kick them off you, or maybe just keep them, if you're familiar with the terminology of jiu-jitsu, keeping him in your guard, so that way you can control him. You understand? Right. So squats, lunges, side lunges, running, the Stairmaster, get on that elliptical machine, get them legs, get that cardio, get that core, and you'll be ready.
All right. Well, I guess then,
on top of the martial arts training, excuse me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think my husband is always telling me that Wing Chun is a good thing for women to get involved in too. I haven't. When I was into martial arts, I was doing Kempo, but he always recommends Wing Chun.
Wing Chun. I practice Jeet Kune Do, which is that's one of the arts that I practice. Jeet Kune Do, which is the philosophy on that Bruce Lee developed martial arts. Now, Wing Chun was actually developed and started by a woman. Right. Wing Chun is effective, especially when you're talking about close quarter combat, like the brother was mentioning earlier. when you're talking about Wing Chun, you're talking about trapping, the art of trapping and striking.
Mm-hmm.
Now, trapping is basically immobilizing somebody's limb or a part of their body. So you're trapping the arm so you can get an advantage to strike, or you're trapping the leg, or you're putting them in a choke where they can't move, or you're bear hugging them. So all of that is trapping. Now, Wing Chun, like I said, is effective, but it's effective in a particular situation and moment in time, in my opinion. Now, I do believe that if you're a fighter, you're a fighter.
Right.
No matter what art that you study, if you can fight, you can fight. But I do know that Wing Chun is kind of limited, because once you're down on the ground, Wing Chun really is not going to help you. If somebody pulls out a baseball bat or pulls out a gun on you, like if you're not like a absolute master of it, it really is really not going to do that much good. But it is good for a particular moment in time. Like I said, close quarters. You're in the elevator with a cracker or something. Wing Chun can be very effective. So I think we need to learn to. We should be training all ranges of fighting, which is punching, kicking, trapping, which is the Wing Chun, the grappling, the jiu-jitsu, as well as with weapons, not just guns. But I also train in the art called Kali, which is a Filipino art. It's a knife fighting, stick fighting system. So we should be learning how to use sticks, knives, throwing objects, throwing knives or what have you. Now, like, the reason why you should maybe train stick fighting, now there are many other arts that train with sticks. Like there's a art out of Haiti called Muti, where they actually the Haitians during the Revolution, they used this art as well against the cracker, where they would use sticks, machetes, or any type of object they would have in their hand. That stick could easily be an umbrella, sisters. You walking down the block, some cracker try to grab, you got your umbrella, boom, 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 put the whips on them. You understand what I'm saying? So we need to learn how to train in all ranges of fighting. Wing Chun is good, but like I said, it's limited to some degree. It can be effective. It's limited. It doesn't cover all ranges of fighting.
Yes, sir. And my husband actually does Lee Jun Fan, but I know he was always saying that Wing Chun was Jeet Kune Do. Oh, my bad. He does Jeet Kune Do. Before he starts hollering, he does Jeet Kune Do. And but he always says that that a woman started Wing Chun, so it's good. Now, you actually touched on what I wanted to talk about next, was just preparing in different ways militarily with weapons.
Well, can I add on to the last piece, really, just a small piece? I want to say this. As the guy said, study all forms of defense and martial arts as you can. But in the terrain that we're in, and the degrees that are going down and such high levels of warfare that we are going to be prepared for, I would have to say, sisters, if you want to start learning self-defense, study close quarter combat fighting, grappling fighting, Krav Maga. It's a black Israeli art system. It's not the white man tried to take it. It's not his. It don't belong to you, cracker. It belongs to the original black Jews. Stop playing yourself. Krav Maga. I personally take Vidassana, African martial arts, as well as other systems. Close quarter combat fighting, tiger styles, and different close quarter styles. Because most men, and I'm just saying that because, and as well with jiu-jitsu, because like you said, and most people look to get you on the ground anyway when they're fighting. That is the objective of fighting for the average person on the street, to get you on the ground. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to be prepared for that. So if you're going to study anything, it's just my opinion, and I love all forms of martial arts. Trust me. But in my humble opinion, in this day and time, it has to be close quarter combat style fighting.
Yes, sir. And I'm going to let the callers know. We'll be coming to the lines, I'm thinking maybe in 15 minutes or so. Just have some things that I want to, discuss before we start coming to the callers. So just hang tight. We'll be there in a minute. The call-in number is 760-569-7676. The participation code is 948656#. Now, as far as militarily, and I do have to say, if I have any MGT or FOI listening, I love you. You know I do. We are not supposed to, quote unquote, carry weapons. That does not necessarily mean that some of us do not choose to have weapons in our home. And even if you choose not to have weapons in your home, you should know how to use them. If you have to take somebody's gun from them, you need to know how to take a gun from somebody and how to use it against them. I forget what mosque it was that was under siege one day, and somebody called the messenger and said, "Messenger, they shooting at us. What should we do?" He said, "Shoot back." Salam alaikum. Click. Cleveland Mosque. Thank you, Brother David. Cleveland Mosque. He says, "Shoot back." Salam alaikum. So we're not going to be spooky about this. We're going to get into it. So I really want to get into the brothers on what guns you recommend for women, but also, guns are not the only weapons. We have to be smart as women. If you come into certain parts of my home, you might see some Asian things sitting around, and you might be like, "Oh, she cooning? What? She all into Asian culture?" No, I'm not. But if I cannot get to wherever one weapon might be, I might be able to reach behind me and get my Kill Bill sword and use that. I might be able to go somewhere and get a letter opener and use that. You should have things strategically placed around your home, and you can even use that, as I said, in home decor, have a sword display on a wall or whatever, so that you always have access to weapons if you need it, where somebody may think it's decoration. It may be. It may not be, but only you will know what's real and what's fake. So that's just something that I had thought of. What guns would you guys recommend?
Everything around you is a weapon, Queen.
Sure.
And to everybody listening, everything around your circumference is a weapon. It all depends on how you utilize it. That's it. I did a self-defense training class in Philadelphia, and y'all probably seen it. The white man got upset about it, blew it all up all over the world, said I'm training kids how to kill crackers and all that, but those kids he was talking about were my children sitting directly in the front of the training. But I had many varieties of weapons because the way I've been trained, again, everything around you is a weapon. So let me just give you a list of some of the weapons I had. A plastic coat hanger, a ladle from the dipper. I had a fork, a butter knife, a stick, a bat, a machete, guns, a bottle. You understand what I'm saying? A can opener, a newspaper. I had a rubber band. You understand? So and I'm sharp with it because I know how to utilize all of it. So everything around you is a weapon. Just understand that principle in battle. You specialize in one specific weapon, but we need to specialize in every goddamn thing.
Right.
You understand? And for those fellas, if you know you can't carry guns, hell, master the knife, master a broken bottle. You understand what I mean? Master some kind of technique, to where you can utilize anything around you.
That's right. Let me just add on to that. You gotta understand that your first weapon and your best weapon is your mind. You need to think defensively at all times, especially especially for the sisters. Like you said, anything around you can be a weapon. Like for instance, you may be on your coffee break from the plantation, or you may be just walking to the grocery store. You notice somebody following you. If you think it defensively and your mind is on point, you start to notice things in your surroundings that you could possibly use as a weapon. I would suggest, like for instance, like somebody like me that lives in the city, you walking down the block and you notice somebody's following you, walk to the corner store, get a hot cup of tea, 50 cents, walk out. The moment he approaches you, splash right in his eye. That gives you opportunity to run. He got scalding hot tea on his face balling, bubbling up now. You understand? Another thing, sisters, get into the habit of when you walk into and from your car or to and from your home, don't put your keys in your purse. Keep your keys in your hand. Put them in between your fingers, like almost like a dagger or a knife, you know what I mean? In case somebody run up on you unexpectedly, because there are a lot of soft, fleshy areas in the face, in the neck, that can be punctured easily with a key. Hit him in the eye, all up in the neck. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of soft, fleshy parts of the body where you can puncture them and cause extreme pain. Because anything is a weapon, like the brother said. Carry pepper spray on you. You should have pepper spray on you. And get in the habit of when you walking to and from your car, to and from your home, or anywhere out on the street, have it accessible, readily accessible, in your hand if possible. You understand? Have a pocket knife if you can't carry a gun. Have a pocket knife, readily accessible, to carve a cracker up.
I definitely agree with that. For women in the nation who, we're not even supposed to carry a penknife, but you can carry a nail file. You have all kinds of stuff in your purse that if you're creative and if your religion forbids certain things, there are ways around it in an emergency situation if you need them. And I think one thing that women can do also for security that a lot of us don't think about, either because we didn't have a father or a man or whatever, but a lot of this, when you have a family, is just basic respect and courtesy. Number one, no matter who's there, you don't let random people in your home. That's one thing that my husband definitely stresses. If you know somebody and you invite them over and they come over with a friend, the friend got to wait outside. You don't know them. The person can come in, but the friend got to wait. You don't let random people into your home. You don't let people see every area of your house. You don't let them roam. You have a place for them to sit. They have access to the restroom, but you don't just have free access where they can see the whole layout of your home. When your husband is not there, you shouldn't be letting any man in your house unless it's like your father, your brother, your son, a very close family member. They shouldn't be in your home, period. And that's just basic male-female respect kind of stuff. But it also works for security, because when you don't have that first line of defense there, being your husband, you really have to look out for yourself. That way you won't even be in some of these situations that we're talking about.
That's right.
Let's see.
In regards to your last question about the firearms, I would say that whatever a sister can handle, because a bullet going the same place. You understand what I'm saying? Whatever you aim at is going to hit. So whatever you can handle is what you should carry. But I also feel like, just like in regards to just hand-to-hand combat, you should be trained in all ranges of fighting. You should know how to handle a shotgun. You should know how to handle a rifle. You should know how to handle a revolver. You should know how to handle a semi-automatic weapon. So try to train with whatever you can, but whatever you can handle is what you should carry.
Yes, sir.
I would say that for those who never shot a firearm, start off small.
That's right.
Something like a 38 or 22. You know what I'm saying? 380. The 22 is very useful because these bullets are very easy to carry. You can carry hundreds and thousands of them without really having too much weight on you. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're out in the wilderness area, out, down south. A 22 is very, very vital. And like the guy said, it all depends on where you aiming at. It's going to hit him. But if you look at this cracker straight in his eyeballs through your scope, that bullet is going through his eyeballs from your scope. You understand what I'm saying? So it all depends on what you like he said, what you are used to, because a lot of guns have different recoil power. 45s are very, very strong guns. Desert Eagles are very strong guns. And if you never shot a firearm before, it's just my opinion, but it's also a suggestion. Start off small. Getting used to busting a gun first. And then work your way up as you get, and naturally it's going to happen anyway. You're going to work your way up as you go along, because you're going to want to start bigger and bigger bullets for bigger crackers. You understand what I mean? Bigger crackers going to take bigger bullets. But you got to learn how to use the rifle, the shotgun, the AK, semi-automatic weapons, automatic weapons. This is on the horizon. We ain't scared of these Peckerwoods. Learn how to make Molotov cocktails and, have different drills in these things. So it all depends on what you're able to handle. And again, if you never shot a firearm, start off small with proper training. Start off small and work your way up.
That's right.
And they even have cute guns now, too. I know King Samir always give me a hard time, but I saw some cute little pink and fuchsia guns the other day, 380s. I was like, oh, that's so cute. It'll coordinate with my outfit. I know men don't care about this kind of stuff, but I was excited over this. Because I got some pink Tims. And they
it don't matter what color it is, the bullet is still going to hit that one color of the white man.
That's right.
That's right. So you can coordinate. I got my pink Tims. I'm going to have my pink 380, and it's just going to be a beautiful, beautiful thing.
And shoot a crack.
You're going to put that bullet through some pink skin.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Cracker in the trunk. And Brother Bomani, I don't know if you listened to Brother Irritated Genie's show last night. We just adding on to it. Brother Jeff called in as a show about Jesus. He says Serapis in the trunk.
I didn't hear that. Serapis in the trunk. I like that one too. That's gonna be the next one.
Yes, sir. All right. Did you guys have anything that you wanted to add on before we go to the phone lines?
Man, we'll be here all night, Queen.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, let me just run down some things that Sister Queen Jacira of the War on Horizon Family, African Insurrection Music Family, she sent me an email today, just some quick little tips, a little pointers that I thought was valuable, some great information, some things to think about. So if you got a second, let me just run down this list.
Oh, sure. Take your time.
She said, one, sisters should invest in some disguises, wigs, glasses, etc. If an act has to be committed in the name of liberation, that allows you to change your appearance easily. Also, become knowledgeable with weapons training beyond guns. Guns ultimately will run out of bullets, so hand-to-hand combat training and improvised weaponry using typical household items and products, knowledge will provide a valuable resource. Also, she says, invest and purchase the items necessary to put together a survival bag. If you can, have 2 survival bags, one to keep in the car, one to keep at home. She says she also goes on frequent nature walks with an elder, and he teaches them how to spot edible food that grows in the wild. So that's something to think about as well. Take wilderness training. Also, learn the art of concealment. Secret compartments in your purse, leg straps to allow you to carry a weapon under a skirt, dress, razors under the tongue without cutting yourself, etc. Also, this is something that you have to do with your mate as well, is create a plan for your family. Key secret words, evacuation routes, different plans for different circumstances. Example, what would a plan be if things go down and the family is together versus what that plan would be if the family is in different places. Also, train in the dark. I think this is very important. Train in the dark. The enemy typically attacks under the cover of darkness. Know how to move around your house in the dark without bumping into anything. Know how to put bullets in the clip or assemble your weapon in the dark. That's very important. Besides going to the gun range, also become intimate enough with your weapon to know how to clean it, how to take it apart, and put it back together. I thought that was very valuable what she put, so I just want to give the sister a shout out, Queen Sarah. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. And I do want to add, I saw, since this is a show mostly on preparing women for warfare, they actually have a holster or like a strap somehow that fits into a woman's bra where you actually can hide your gun up under the bra very well. And that's why in the Nation of Islam, when we do our search procedure, is very, very thorough because you can actually hide things there and you would never know by looking at you. So I think that concealment is very, very important. I like the disguise too. I might have to go get me a blonde Coonan wig or something.
Also, let me just add though again. Let me just reiterate, sisters, when you walking to and from your car, keep your keys in your hand. Put the key between your fingers, between in the middle of your 2 fingers, in the middle of your hand. So that way, if somebody walk up on you unexpectedly, you can puncture the soft parts of the flesh. Like I said, the neck, the eye, the temple. You know what I'm saying? And cause extreme pain. Also, get in the habit of, if you have different entries into your home, get into the habit of not walking in and out of the same entrance all the time. Change it up. Also be strategic about it. If like for instance, I know somebody with a home that when they come out of their home, one of the entrances leads right into the driveway, and the driveway goes all the way to the back of the house. Somebody can be hiding behind the house. So make sure your areas where it's dark is well lit. When you come out of your home, be strategic, look around, get in the habit of looking behind you when you walk. Try not to put yourself in a situation where you may walk out into a trap. Also, get into the habit, if you're walking down a block and you have to turn the corner, don't make a sharp turn. Don't walk so close to the building where you would turn the corner and somebody could pop up and be right there in your face. Get into the habit of making a wide turn around the corner so nobody can really surprise you around that corner. Also, sisters, if you don't have a firearms license, please, do your hardest to get one, because your man may not be able to get one if he's a felon. And carry pepper spray, and a pocket knife. Keep that handy.
And I'm going to add on to that, too. One thing that I see a lot, and it irks my nerves, when you are in public, stay off your cell phone. Get off of Facebook and stop texting, walking with your head down while you're on these stupid cell phones while you're in public. You're not paying attention to your surroundings at all, and pay attention to your surroundings. Notice changes. My husband's always telling me that because sometimes I be zoning. Pay attention to your surroundings so you can notice changes. Like, there's a lot of abandoned houses on my street. I live in Detroit. It's pretty normal. So, okay, was that door open before? Has somebody been in that house? What's going on? Know what's going on around you. Stop the cell phones.
That's right. And also walking down the block with them Beats by Dre headphones blasting in your ears. Like me personally, I have a pair of those headphones, but when I'm walking down the block, if I'm not like sitting in somewhere where I can see everything, like on a train or subway or what have you, if I'm walking down the block, I don't even have the music playing. That's kind of like a front for anybody thinking that, he can't hear me sneaking up on him. I hear you, cracker, coming up behind me, and I'm going to kick you in your face. So keep the music off or down low to a minimum where you can still hear what's going on in your environment. And like Sister said, keep your eyes up. Always look around and get in the habit of every now and again, look behind you. There's nothing wrong with, people think I'm paranoid because every few steps or every block or so, I'll look behind me to see if there's somebody following me or if anybody too close to me. So get in the habit of looking behind me.
That's so important because I saw a video the other day, and it was the craziest thing that I've seen. There was a woman, and, it was a guy walking in front of her. And usually, this taught me a lesson, because usually I'm very concerned if somebody's walking behind me. I'll just stop until they walk in front of me. But this brother was actually walking in front of her. And they were walking past the store, and it was broad daylight. It was like 6 or 7 in the morning, but it was summertime, so it was broad daylight. And he stopped walking. She kept on going wherever she was going, to the bus stop or whatever. He actually grabbed her, took her behind a truck, and raped her. I think this was in Trenton, New Jersey. Raped her in broad daylight for like 10 minutes or more, and then just walked away.
Wow.
You have to be careful.
You definitely got to be careful. What I would say in that situation, when you feeling uncomfortable, somebody's walking in front of you, he's too close. He stopped, you stop. Cross the street. Get away from him. Anybody that you're not comfortable, like you're not comfortable in that situation, something's kind of fishy, or he's just a little bit too close to. There's nothing wrong. Like, I don't have a problem crossing the street. I don't care how anybody feel about it. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if you're walking down the block and somebody's in front of you, and you're not necessarily comfortable walking with this person too close in front of you, or there's something strange about him, and you feel like crossing the street, who cares how you feel about it, how it look, even if you got to cross back over to that same side of the street. Cross the street and get as far away from that person. Yes,
sir. All right. Well, we will see.
Yeah, let me add on real quick to that. Also, if you're sitting outside, always strive to be very mindful of where your back is. Me personally, I don't sit anywhere where my back is exposed out behind me, and I have to keep looking behind my back. You understand what I'm saying? So always try to sit with your back up against the wall or the furthest place where people are not going to be, constantly running back and forth behind you to make you feel uncomfortable from the very beginning. So this, and it's so much more stuff. If you're living in an apartment building and you want to give yourself some extra security, what you'll do is break up some glass and put it down in front of your door at night. You understand what I'm saying? If you live in like the projects in New York type projects, or any kind of inside building like that, just add a little security at night. Put a little glass in front of your door, a little crushed glass right in front of your door. And once you hear that crushed glass going in somebody's foot, trust and believe you, that's going to give you a nice alarm and give you some time to get your little P380 and start letting this cracker have it.
That's very true. I know my husband was telling me that his captain actually had a welcome mat, and he turned it over and put a whole bunch of nails in his welcome mat. So at night, he could swap out the welcome mat, and anybody come in, yeah, you're gonna get a welcome because you're gonna be stepping on some nails. So I mean, it's a lot of little things that we can do. And depending on what kind of shoes they have, you could try mouse traps that may or may not work depending on what kind of shoes they're wearing. In summertime, a lot of brothers now, they like to wear these sandals and whatnot. I hate that. So, you could do that. There's a lot of things we can do, but we just have to get our mind into being more, defense inclined towards defense and even taking the offense, really. All right. Well, we will go on and go to the phone lines. 5471, you're live. 5471.
Hey, this is Adenike. Yes, I have a question regarding self-defense.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just started training. Peace, Brother Bamani. Peace, Brother King Smith.
Peace, great.
Okay, I have just started training, and my thing is that as far as my cardio, I've been on it trying to get it up. But what suggestions that you have in order to get it to optimum health?
Keep doing it.
Exactly.
Keep doing whatever it is you're doing, Queen. Keep doing it. Because see, the thing we have to understand, it's not going to happen overnight. There is no such thing as overnight results. There is no such thing as 1 week results. You understand what I'm saying? This is an everyday process. The more you put in, the more you going to get out when you throwing this cracker down to the concrete.
Sure.
Quickly. Keep doing it.
Let me just add on that, optimum level is better than it was last week. So you got to keep pushing your cardio to its limit. So if you can, let's say, for instance, if you can run 1 mile today, next week push it to 1.5 miles. And once you conquer that, push it to 2 miles and keep going. The thing is that you got to push your cardio to its limit in order to create another threshold. You know what I'm saying? Another limit. So, like the brother said, keep doing it.
Okay, thank you. And I do have another question. Okay, me being a single mother, and I tend to travel a lot. And I'm very interested into getting into martial arts. However, as you stated, that it's strongly recommended that our sisters get a male partner to grapple with. However, I don't necessarily have a male partner on a constant basis that I can grapple with. Even if I don't get into martial arts training per se, I just want to at least know the basic techniques. So what are the suggestions that you may have for sisters like myself who don't have that kind of access right now?
You have to try to get yourself into some type of self-defense program. Like it's not to me, it's not an option. It's something that you have to do. Like it's an obligation that you have to yourself, to your family, and to your race to know how to defend yourself properly. If you don't have someone in the home that can show you, then you have to find the time and find the right place to go and train, because it's just an obligation that you have. There's no way around it. Like you're not going to learn how to grapple, like the brother said, overnight. Like there's no such thing as overnight success, like the brother said. So you have to find a program, an art that you like, and particularly, like I said, I recommend Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for the sisters, only because I feel it's very functional in a situation where somebody may get you down on the ground. But as well as
go ahead, Black.
As well as maybe you want to add in some striking arts with that, and also some weapon arts. I think Kali's very effective. Like I said, it's a stick fighting, knife fighting art. And like I said, that stick can easily be a frying pan in your hand or an umbrella. Also, a striking art, maybe like boxing or something, maybe a little bit more versatile, like Muay Thai or something like that, where you know how to use your knees, your elbows, kicking and punching on top of the grappling. You have to put that time in. So there's really no way around it. But just for a quick, like I said, quick things you can reference. Just understand that foul tactics work and they hurt. So a finger jab to the eye, a punch to the throat. It only takes 4 pounds of pressure to rip the human ear off. So biting, like these things cause extreme pain, and it may give you enough time to get away from your attacker. You know what I'm saying? Eye gouging is very effective. A kick to the groin. You know what I'm saying? So just those are just quick references that you can go to.
Fingernails. I love them long nails.
Yeah, just make sure they real or glued on real good. So you start to scratch in the eye gouge, they don't pop off. So
that's right.
Both for the eyes, like me personally, I always tell people like in the street fight, there's 2 things I'm definitely gonna do. I'm gonna poke you in your eye, and I'm gonna elbow you in your face. Those are 2 things that are guaranteed to happen in the street fight with me. So that as an enemy doesn't want to fight when they can't see. Nobody wants to fight something they can't see. So once you stop the person from being able to see properly, you hit him in the eye, quick punch to the eye, quick finger jab to the eye. You stick your thumbs in their eyeballs. That causes extreme pain. On top of that, they can't see, and nobody wants to fight when they can't see.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the advice, and I'll get started on building on my cardio and look for some self-defense training in martial arts. Thank you again, brothers. Peace, sisters.
Peace.
Peace.
Now, one thing that I want to add to that, just from my own experience, shoot fighting, which, is another form of grappling, whatever. If you do find a program like that, since you don't have a spouse to do that with, you'll have to, be grappling with men you don't know. You have to let them know. Well, first of all, it's better if you get a group of black individuals. You'll feel much more comfortable. But you have to let them know not to baby you, not to be afraid to grab you. Because a lot of them, because you're a woman and you have different parts, are afraid to really get down with you, but they'll really be doing you a disservice. You have to let them know, that if you have to use this in real life, you're going to have people grabbing you and they, not giving them permission to grope you or anything like that. But in a real life situation, nobody's going to be careful about where they're placing hands and, try to be so delicate because you're a female. So you really have to try to make the brothers comfortable with that, because otherwise they're going to really baby you and you might not get a lot out of it. Let's see. Next caller, 5469, you're live. I can just barely hear you. Can you speak up a little bit? Five, 4, 6, 9, you there? Okay, I'm going to assume they are just listening. Let's see. Okay, 0665, you're live. 0665? All right.
Queen, there's a really bad echo coming in.
Okay. Let's see. One moment, please.
A lot of feedback coming.
And I'm not sure exactly why that is. I'm going to see if I call back in, if that will alleviate some of the echo. It seems like every time we have a good show, this becomes an issue. So
it's good right there. That's good.
It's good?
Yes, it's gone.
Thank you.
I put the cracker back in the trunk.
Thank you, Bomani. Put that cracker in the trunk.
Yeah, I threw him back in there.
Sit on top of it. Don't let him out.
My fault.
All right. Next call. Let's see. 7834, you're live.
Serapis in the trunk.
Serapis in the trunk.
Catch a cracker in my hood, he gonna get robbed.
How you doing, Brother Jeff?
What's happening, Conrad? What's happening, Brother Jeff? With Gut Cheek Lemonade, Black Man, that was a classic one, brother. I got to give you a strong BD for ODA for that one, brother. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Hey, bro, Bomani.
Yes, sir.
quick question to ask you, bro.
Okay, brother.
Hey, man, who that rapping on a BB to me that say, catch a crack in my hood, he gonna get robbed?
That's me.
That's you?
That's me, brother, yeah.
Hey, I love that verse, bro. No fool, I love that verse. I be looking at these crackers in my hood, man, and I be feeling like a cold B word, man. Cold B word, man.
Thanks a lot, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you for your support, brother. I appreciate it.
Hey, bro, but I got a little a website to drop for y'all that we can get some good advice from. Get some crackers, give us some advice to some other crackers, but it's good advice for us.
And what's that?
The website is called Innovative Tactical Concepts. ITC.com.
You said innovative tactical concepts?
Yeah.
What's that about, black man?
They talk about really dynamic situations. And I guess that's code word to crackers for if you get attacked by a black person. And they let you know, like, the reaction time, how much second research say you have to draw your weapon before another one is caliber. They tell you that caliber doesn't matter because when you get shot, it feels the pressure of you getting shot is gonna be the same as the recoil of the gun. So if I'm busting a 4.5, the same way I'm feeling when that 4.5 kick, if I get hit or when I hit the cracker with it, he gonna feel that same as the recoil. So they saying that FBI statistics show 20% of handgun victims, only 20% of handgun victims die from the shot unless you hit them and it kills back, like the head or the spinal cord. And also they tell you that in a dynamic situation, you're gonna be busting your handgun with one hand. So like when we at the range and we shoot with two hands, in a dynamic situation, that's not really gonna happen. So when you're choosing a handgun for brothers and sisters who's lucky enough to have the option to choose your handgun, make sure that you can fire that weapon accurately with one hand.
That's right. It's good advice.
Huh?
I said that's good advice, brother.
Also, it's another brother has a gun club down in Atlanta called the Southfield Gun Club. He on Facebook, his name is Dirk Time Club. This brother is an excellent source for military strategy. If you have any questions about bullets, handguns, rifles, anything that got to do with in the firearm classification or this strategy period, you can go to this brother. He posts links about different plants, different everything. How to make your own medical kit, stuff that can heal you, that's out in nature. Third time stuff on Facebook. You look him up. I don't national coon, no Ubuntu, but strictly for Africans that serious about defending their race and who race first. So I wouldn't want nobody wasting the brother time. So look him up. He's very friendly. I'm pretty sure if you're a serious African, he'll give you good advice.
Yes, sir. Anything else, Brother Jeff?
That's it. I'm sitting back, listening to the show.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for calling in. I appreciate it.
Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. Peace.
BB48.
Crack in the trunk.
Crack in the trunk, brother Jeff. Black power.
Crack in the trunk.
And that's one thing that I like to do too. In my spare time, it's like one of my little guilty pleasures. I go around to the white survivalist board, see what they talking about, see what they plotting. And when you see what they plot, some of them just plain stupid. You can't even take them serious. But you know, the ones that really are about it, you can learn from them. Not only some tactics, but also learn what they're planning for you.
That's right.
Because they've been ready for us. All right. Next call. King David in the house. Mr. is G Kundo, right? G.
Yes, ma'am. Medium fine, good food. Assalamualaikum, brothers and sisters.
Walaikum salam, brother.
I'd like to ask a question to both of you brothers. Well, I'm pretty sure both of you brothers have different techniques on this. what, in you both your brother's opinion, is the best way to choke somebody out? I did it about 20 years ago when I first got into Jeet Kune Do concepts. I did the guillotine, the stand-up guillotine choke. I choked them out in about 6 seconds. Now, what's the best way, I say on the ground, to choke somebody out?
On the ground, well, I think it really depends on your position. If you are on a bottom position, the guillotine choke will probably be the best, because the way you have them locked up, I think that's the best choke from the ground on your back. From a top position, let me see. Well, you can apply a side choke. You can also do a guillotine choke from the top. So yeah, that guillotine choke is that's a doozy right there, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I would have to. That's kind of a hard trick question, brother. Yes, sir. I mean, and I'm laughing and joking about it because I know so many different chokeholds. We have studied, tiger style, and it's man, what kind of trick question?
Can I add though? Let me just say though, my actual favorite choke actually is the rear choke. Like, I think from a standing position, the best situation you could be in probably is like a rear choke, because you can also take them down to the ground that way and continue to choke. Like, you could go from a standing position down to a kneeling position and keep that position and hold that choke. So I would say probably, like I said, really depends on your position in the predicament. But from a standing position, I like the rear choke.
Right. Yes, but that guillotine is a doozy though. I have to at least put that in my top 3. Yes, sir. That guillotine is no joke. Standing or sitting, laying, or however you kneeling, it's a wrap. Yes, sir.
Any other questions, Brother David?
Oh, that's it. I just want to get the brothers' ideas on some good chokes for this devil. I appreciate your answers, brother, and brothers, and salam alaikum. Hey, a triangle ain't too bad either, brother David. Say what now, brother? That triangle choke is pretty deadly itself too. Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got choked out from that a couple of times. It choked me unconscious, but I tapped it in about 2 seconds.
Yeah, I caught somebody in that last night training. So yeah, triangle choke is very deadly. But like in the street, I find in the street scenario, like a triangle choke, those types of chokes, I really would kind of, I mean, not that you couldn't do them if it's a one-on-one situation, but if you're in a situation where you got other people around, it's kind of tricky. I'll probably try to go for that choke in a street fighting scenario. But I mean, if the situation calls for it, yeah, triangle choke is very deadly. But like I said, again, that rear choke though, just for the amount of pressure that you can apply to the neck, and particularly for a man, like most of like I have arms and strong arms and shoulders. So when you apply that rear choke, the amount of pressure I can apply is probably more pressure than I can from a guillotine.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir. You put somebody out in about 3 seconds of that.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in, Brother David.
Thank you, Queen.
You're welcome. I'll see you when you come back in here. And I'll say, as far as the choking thing goes, I don't know why I kind of like choking. That's like one of my favorite things to do. But when you're in a situation, you just got to do whatever works. Because I remember there was a time, I don't think I was in any physical danger, but somebody just really made me angry, and I used to be not as reserved as I am now. And it was a brother, probably, I don't know, he had to be at least 3 inches taller than me, and I just one hand choked him. And I think because of my adrenaline from being angry and his shock, it actually worked, because I was sitting there, I choked him, and I was like, oh, what am I doing? I didn't even realize what I was doing. And then once I did it, I had to keep applying the pressure, because I'm like, if I let go and he's not weak, he's going to come and kick my butt. So I just had to kind of hold it there for a minute, and he got weak enough, and then I made my exit. But adrenaline is something else. So I mean, women, when you get into those situations, let your adrenaline work for you, because you may accomplish things that you never really thought that you would be able to do. I am not one to be fighting men. I've never actually been in a fight with a man, never been hit by a man, anything like that. But I surprised myself that night because it worked. I was like, wow, it was one hand too. I got to brag about it. It was great.
I mean, you cut that blood flow off to the brain. It takes about 4 seconds for them to really pass out unconscious. A few more seconds, they may be out for the count. So, yeah, it don't take much. A sister could choke a brother out. Either as a brother could choke somebody out. So,
definitely.
It's not quicker.
That's right.
I know, because y'all don't be expecting it, but I don't know. For some reason, I like choking. I don't necessarily like punching and all that other stuff, but I will choke somebody out. But that's just my personality. Let's see. We have a call from Skype. Call from Skype? Okay, we have a call from Skype. Are you just listening? All right, I'm assuming they're listening. We might need some baby self-defense, though. They sound like they was interested. Little baby in the background. All right, well, I'd kind of like to go back and revisit. We were talking earlier about using everyday items as weapons, and I know I think I heard newspapers and rubber bands and things like that. How do you use those things as weapons? That's something that I think a lot of women wouldn't think to use or wouldn't know how to use as a weapon.
Well, it depends on the situation you're in. Like, for instance, if you're sitting down reading a newspaper, and there's someone, a cracker coming to attack you while you're sitting down reading your newspaper can become a distraction. You know, it could become a part of the defense or an offense. Fold up your paper, it becomes a little thicker, slap him around a little bit. You could even choke the cracker out with a newspaper. Hold it at both ends, just run it up in his throat, choke him out. I mean, so many different things you could do. You know, you could use a rubber band as a distraction. You know, pop him in the eyes with a rubber band. And now next thing you know, he's in the ambulance. There's so many different little things, you know, statues around the house and, hell, even the microwave. I mean, I'm just saying, picture frames and, you know, little knickknacks you got around the home. Little, you know, y'all know, sister, y'all know you got the little marbles, the little crystal marbles and stuff like that. Hey, perfect weapons. Grab a handful of them marbles and get busy. You know, anything in your home, anything on the street, anything in the woods is a weapon.
Right. I suggest that, you know, people should have weapons tactically placed around your home.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Have a baseball bat by the front door. You know what I'm saying? Have a knife somewhere stashed in the bathroom. You never know what you might be encountered in your own home. Somebody could break in your home while you're taking a shower. Have a pocket knife or some pepper spray up there next to your shampoo or something like.
Right. Right.
Have weapons strategically placed around your home, and like the brother said, anything can be a weapon. Your car keys, again, I stress that because that's a lot of sisters I know that have been attacked coming out of their car. They've been attacked coming out of their home or walking to their home. Them keys, you could throw the key. If you don't want to use the key as a weapon to puncture, take the keys, throw it in his face. That could just, like you said, that's a distraction tactic where you can get away. Yeah. Hot tea, coffee, frying pan, whatever it takes.
Hot grease is even better.
Yes, it is.
Al Green, the cracker. Hit him with some grits, whatever you cooking on the stove.
Some collard greens, some cabbage.
Yeah.
Who has buttons?
I'm glad you said that because I actually heard, that is a really good thing to do if somebody is trying to carjack you, or well, not carjack you because you'd be in the car, but somebody trying to take something from you. Just take your keys when they're trying to get your keys and throw them. So they have to go get the car keys, and you can go on and do what you got to do. Whatever. So I definitely think that that's a great idea.
The best two places to hit them with that key is their throat and their eyes.
That's right.
Or if you can get a nice good ear shot,
Oh, that's
you
right.
drive that key through the other side of his damn head. Straight up, straight through his ears. Bust his eardrums wide open. Get a piece of his spinal cord and the crack of his brain all at the same time. Bring the key out to the other side of the head and turn on the ignition.
Another, just to add on to that, to what the brother's saying, another thing, I'm pretty sure Brother David, he's familiar, being he's a Jeet Kune Do practitioner like myself. We got something called it's an air slap, where you cup your hand and you slap the person in the air, and you force that air in his ear, it'll throw off his equilibrium, and that make him dizzy enough so either you can get away or you can finish him off with some strikes.
Yeah, sir, he's demonstrating for me as we speak. And he also read my mind. I was just about to say, I know it's a 2-man guest, so they don't like to think about it or talk about it, but you can never forget the effectiveness of the genital region. That's very sensitive, and yeah, sometimes you gotta go for what you know.
Now, a foul tactic works probably better than anything else. Got kick to the groin, hurts. A brother is going down. He's going down. Like, there's no doubt about it.
And you may be able to get that off a lot quicker than an ear slap, or, you know what I'm saying? Seriously, you may be able to get that groin kick off a hell of a lot quicker than anything else.
But the thing about foul tactic is like a eye gouge or a poke to the eye or a finger jab to the throat or kick to the groin. The thing about it is, once you fine tune your mechanics, if a sister is training herself in striking, in boxing, or any type of kickboxing, that makes your foul tactics that much more devastating, because you know how to throw a proper punch. You can throw a straight finger jab to the eye quickly and precisely and strike him in the area where you want to hit him. So that's why training is very important. We can't lose sight of the fact that these tactics work, but the more you train them and hone your technique and your skills, it makes it that much more effective. Because if you could throw a good jab, you could throw a great finger jab to the eye. You understand? If you know how to throw a front snap kick, you can throw a kick to the groin. You know what I'm saying? You can throw a side kick, or what we call a gym tech. You can kick him in the groin. You know what I'm saying? So foul tactics works, but they work better when you fine tune your mechanics and you're actually training.
Everyday practice.
Definitely. Now, the last thing that I think I'm going to like to touch on, just because we're talking about women and preparing women for self-defense, the women are the first teachers of the children. So the women need to be able to teach the children this as well. These tactics and knowing who their enemy is and all of that kind of things. Do you have any advice for, training up the children to be soldiers, because they in this too?
Right. I say as soon as they're at the age where they can understand and follow instructions, you should be training them. Like, when they're young, you can kind of make it a game, kind of play around with them, show them how to punch, kick, play around and toy around with them. But as they grow and they develop, and you got them to the point where they understand the techniques and the concepts, then you can really start teaching them and honing their skills for combat. But I say as soon as they're young enough to understand and follow instructions, if they understand, stop, stay, sit, don't move, you know what I mean? Listen to what I'm saying, be quiet, and they follow instructions, they know how to, you can teach them how to throw a punch, you can teach them how to slip a punch, you can teach them how to kick, teach them how to bite, teach them how to swing a stick. So, as young as possible, man, you got to start from 3 to 4 years old if possible.
I started training mine at the age of 2. And still to this very day, they love it. They love it, because they know now this is a part of their everyday way of life. Learning how to defend themselves. And like the guy said, as soon as they can understand juice and milk and potty and all that kind of stuff, you should be training them to throw a punch and throw a kick and some chokeholds on this crack.
You should have the materials that you need in your home to do that. You should have focus mitts. You should have tie pads in your home. You should have some mats. Maybe you could throw down on the floor where you can roll with them and grapple with them. You should have sticks to train with, training knives. You should have these things in your home, so that way, you can train the children. Like, these are materials that a serious martial artist should have and that they need in their home. I'm pretty sure I'm not telling you nothing new, sis.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I think another thing that is lacking nowadays that we don't think about when we think about security is also teaching the children discipline. When you tell them to be quiet and sit down, they need to react because there could be a situation where, you may not want anybody to know there's children in the home. They may need to go to the closet and hide while you handle business. If
Right.
somebody's breaking in, or if you just don't want anybody to know they're home. And a lot of times, these children nowadays are so wild and undisciplined, they do whatever they want to. And in a security situation, that's not going to be good.
That's right.
That's definitely
That's
not going to
right.
be good.
I mean, martial arts does, at least for me, it helped me develop a lot more discipline. So but with martial art, part of being a martial artist is having that discipline. So if you're a martial artist and you're a serious martial artist and you're training your children, they will develop that discipline and that same love for the art that you have. But you have to convey that to them.
Yes, sir. Now, what do you guys think about I guess preparing yourself as far as pain tolerance? Because I remember back in the day where I went to take martial arts at, they did a little bit of everything. The main focus was American Kempo, but we did stick fighting, we did shoot fighting, we did a little bit of swords. Just a variety of things. But one thing, and I had to stop it after a while. Was when we were doing stick fighting, one of the first things the teacher would do was basically beat you with sticks, and you had to sit there and take it. And I thought that was good for developing some pain tolerance. However, the guy was a small hat, so I was like, I'm not gonna be sitting up here letting this white Jew beat on me with some sticks. That just didn't sit well with me. But do you think that that's important to be able to learn how to tolerate pain, so it's not such a shock when it comes to you?
Yeah, so
Definitely.
that's the whole point of sparring. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of sparring, being able to receive what you're throwing out. You know what I'm saying? Being able, if you know you're throwing a right hook, well, hell, you got to know what a right hook feels like. You throwing a side kick, you got to know what a side kick feels like. You got to be able to take and withstand the pain on being on the opposite end. Yeah. Don't think you just gonna be doing all the offense and somebody ain't gonna get a shot at you. Hell, then it may be only that one shot they need to knock your behind out.
Okay,
You
brother.
know? So we definitely need to be able to withstand some pain. I mean, of course, disciplined and safe as well. But at the same time, it has to be psychological training as well, because we have to remove fear. We have to remove fear out of us. Seriously. And there has to be some serious, thorough psychological training. You know what I'm saying? If you sitting with your comrades and sitting with your family and y'all having survival drills, do a kidnapping drill. You understand what I'm saying? Kidnap your woman and have her, just go through little drills like that, different things to already know what to say and what not to say. You know what I'm saying? Kidnap your children. Put them in a kidnapping situation. And make it seem as very real as possible. So these are the kind of things we have to start really, really, really buckling down on, the psychological effects of warfare. Being able to withstand these kind of hostage situations and being kidnapped and knowing what to do and what to say, what not to say, how to operate and find escape routes and get the hell up out of there.
See, and King Samir, this is why I told you the other day that I would not mess with you as a trainer. I'm sorry. I am not about to sit here and spar with my husband and let him be hitting on me, because I know it will not take much. I'm losing that battle every time. You are crazy.
Well, pick the nearest Penelope you can find. Just beat the hell out of it.
The beating up, I don't mind. The getting beat, I don't know.
On the serious note of that, Queen, yes, we have to be able to take pain as much as we give it.
Yeah, and like the brother said, though, all that comes along with sparring. Like, you're going to have to learn how to deal with pain. That's one aspect of sparring. Sparring is learning how to think and how to use your training in live fighting, as well as being able to like deal with the pain, knowing what a kick to the leg feels like, knowing what getting punched in the face feels like. I actually broke my ankle sparring in Muay Thai. So, you know, it comes along with it. Like there's no way to escape of knowing like if you're doing Cali, like when I'm training with my sticks, I get hit in the hand all the time, get hit in the forearm. I come home with bruises, my jammed fingers. I think I broke my hand a couple times and didn't do nothing about it. Like so, you know, that's the game. So sparring, when you sparring, you're gonna have to deal with pain.
That's right. I done broke my arm a few times, and actually I'm sitting here looking at my knuckle right now that's no longer here. It's pushed all the way back to my wrist bone. I done had, stitches from the back of my neck all the way down to the front of my face. You understand what I'm saying? Broken legs, broken toes, sparring and actual combat. You know, but the sparring is where you will learn how to maneuver, how to defend, and really, really utilize what you learn. Because if you don't, you're going to get knocked the hell out.
That's right.
So you're
going to end up going home with something broke. You know what I mean? Something bloody on you. It's bound to happen. But these are what constant and consistent self-development and self-practice daily. It all comes in because you'll start to master your own art. I don't care if you study in Taekwondo. Be the master of Taekwondo. Practice hard just as you would something else that you may have been dreaming about, but you can only get a Taekwondo class right now.
Do you think Taekwondo can really be effective, though? Do you think Taekwondo can really be effective, though? Because that's more like a sport to me than a real defense. Can that actually be effective?
Again, it depends on the individual.
I feel in regards to Taekwondo, like it really depends on the practitioner. Like if you can fight, you can fight. You know, if you practice Taekwondo and you out on the street fighting against Joe Schmo cracker that's just some fat beer belly cracker that don't know how to even throw a punch, you're gonna kick his behind. But again, that's another art that I feel is limited. To me, it is kind of a sport. But there are some kicks in Taekwondo that can be useful. But again, when you study in the art, you should know the history of the art that you're studying because it kind of gives you the functionality or the purpose of the art. Like for instance, Taekwondo has a lot of kicks, a lot of spin kicks, a lot of jump kicks, and that's because these were Koreans fighting against whoever they was fighting against. I forget. Excuse me. They was training to kick people off a horseback. So nowadays, we're not kicking people off a horseback, so a lot of those kicks are not even useful today. But in the sport or in the competition, it looks nice. You may score some points. Understand?
Right.
Yes, sir. So how hard do you think that you should spar? Because I'm just thinking, I can tell that my husband hits pretty hard, and I'm thinking if I spar with him on that level, I will probably go through the window and be landing on the other side of the street. How's that?
Well, there are many different levels of sparring.
Right.
Like in my school, we go from what we call Ling Chun, which is very light sparring. Like again, when you're sparring, when you have a sparring partner, that's your partner. Like you're working together. The objective is really not to knock each other's head off. The objective is you may come into the sparring matchup saying, well, I want to work on my head movement, work on slipping punches, work on my defense. Your partner may say, well, I'm working on countering or what have you. And you kind of work together. You're not telling each other, you're not telegraphing your movements to the point where they know exactly what you're going to do. But you know the person's objective, they know your objective, and you're working together to try to, to fine tune your skills or that particular element of your fight game that you're working on at the moment. And then you have really hard sparring. Like in my school, like I said, we go from really light sparring to the hard sparring. Now there are days where, my instructor, he tells everybody, get your mouth guard going in, and we try to knock each other's head off. But it's all about the person that you with. You got to communicate with your sparring partner. So if you're going to spar with your husband, I'm pretty sure he has the control and he knows better than try to knock you through the window. So you let him know you have an objective when you go into the sparring match.
And make sure we have not been fussing beforehand or nagging.
Right, you discuss it beforehand. Let him know.
And always work on something different. You understand what I'm saying? If you're working on if if you're working on punches, he should be working on blocks. You see what I'm saying? Because sparring goes two ways. You see what I mean? And you're enhancing each other. So one day you may be doing all hand sparring. Next day you may be doing legs. You understand what I mean? Kicks, and learning how to properly block kicks and just throwing at each other and just going at it for a few hours. You know, then next day you may mix it all up. Just throw everything together and just come at it. You know, but always have it regimented and controlled. That's right.
All right, brothers. Well, we're wrapping down. We have a few minutes left in the show, so if there's anything that you haven't had a chance to say that you'd like to say, go right ahead.
No, ma'am. I actually got to get into this meeting with my comrades right now, and it's a pleasure and an honor, Queen, to bring me on the show. Brother Bomani, it's definitely a pleasure to always rock out with you, black man. Always. And we love y'all. New Black Panther Party definitely supports the United Front. And that Black Power manhood rap is rapping them out here, brother. Keep the cracker in the trunk. Sing one for me.
Thank you so much.
Look, I got to clean up my storage, so you may have a come pick up a few.
Got some crackers in the back of the truck. That's what we're going to do.
That's right.
Well, thank you so
much. But it's definitely honor black family and black survival is mandatory.
Yes,
Black Power.
Black Power. Thank you.
Well, I just, again, just echo his sentiments. Just want to thank you, sister, for having me on the show. I'm honored, and I'm honored that you would think that I was qualified to even be on this show. First time that I actually did something like this, but I'm grateful for the opportunity, and it was a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. There was definitely, I was looking at your Facebook page, and, well, number one, you made a song called Cracker in the Trunk. That alone qualifies you to come on here. And so I really appreciate it. I really, like I said, I wanted both of you on here, and I didn't think I'd probably get either one. So to have both of you was just really an honor. And I want to let everybody know, as I said at the beginning of the show, if you have not gotten the CD yet, I don't know what's wrong with you. How good the CD is. I don't like rap. Well, I like very little rap. I'll put it like that. I have not listened to any new rap songs since like Kanye's first album or like Blueprint, like around in that area. Tupac has been my favorite rapper since Same Song. Tupac is no longer my favorite rapper. He has been knocked off his throne because he was only, talking good stuff about half the time. The other half the time he was cooning. So Brother Bomani and United Front, keep it coming all the time, every song. Quality is not this little, some people try to be positive, but they're real corny. It's nothing like that. And even my husband, he don't listen to nothing but Public Enemy. And when I first got the CD, he's like, I don't want to listen to that. It's new rap music, whatever. He bumps that non-stop now. That's like the only thing that's been getting played in our house. So if you can convert the two of us, then you are definitely doing something. So if you have not got that Black Power Manhood Rap CD, I suggest you go to War on the Horizon, click on store, and cop it. It's only $10. We spend more than that on some McDonald's half the time with some pizza. So copy you the Black Power Manhood Rap CD. And like I said, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, sister. Pleasure was all mine.
You're welcome. Cracker in the trunk.
Crack in the trunk.
Yo, you checking that trunk, dog? What? Yeah, I pour another one. Third cracker this week. Yo, I dropped one off the building. Word. What you want dumpling? East River? Yep. Alright. Ready to patio. Yeah, peace to the guards. I got a cracker in the trunk of my car. Hope he dumped the body. Caught the cracker slipping, so I hit him with the shotty. Said I caught the cracker slipping, so I hit him with the shotty. Caught him in the lobby, fully stressed him like Pilates. So I left his body with the shotty, kicking like karate. Need a place to hide, so the police never find me. And never take me alive, but no jury ever try me. My Yasa Bomani couldn't do a cracker grimy. He could be white trash or a crooked ass Jaime. This is for the slave fake shit. This for Troy Davis, this for every cracker talking greasy on the day shit. It can be your gay bitch and I'ma let the gauge rip. You really got it confused if you thinking that I'm racist. I'm just a deadly weapon of God. I bang hard and I'm repping my squad. This a lesson to y'all. This is justice. I'm correcting the wrongs. You're in the morgue if you tested my heart. If you questioned my smarts, killing crackers, I perfected the art. Like Nat Turner with the burner, rip the cracker apart. Yeah, friends get hugs, enemies get shoved in the 6-foot hole. My shovel, my black gloves, shedding white blood, the ultimate black glove. Everybody grab a back, my brothers is crack skull. These are the guards. I got a cracker in the trunk of my car. Help me dump the body. Caught the cracker slipping, so I hit him with the shotty. Said I caught the cracker slipping, so I hit him with the shotty. Caught him in the lobby, fully stressed him like Pilates. So I left his body twitching, shotty, kicking like karate. Need a place to hide, so the police never find me. The devil take me alive, but no jury ever try me.
Shoot down they choppers, they trying to put us in the dirt. Yeah, black hole down, them crackers get what they deserve. Sending soldiers to Africa. Otama got some nerve, got a tire for a traitor, put it round him, let it burn. Checking your catalog, your black power sabotage. If I move like you, I will poison your caviar. Why my people sleeping on the bringer of nightmares? It's cause you think he won't turn Harlem to Vietnam. But ain't no Charlie, just your sisters, moms, and auntie. He gon' violate the forcing you to watch it. How you stop it? Read a book on the topic. When you think that I got it, this horror is our story. On my blood they make profit. You keep thinking he playing, it's too left for your noggin. Ain't no first and 10, no more chances to stop it. Just one attempt to load up and fire.